Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Kaelan's story. Now, Kaelan, you wake up and you slept in, which is typically a problem, except today is Saturday. There is no class today. But you awaken at about 7 in the morning to the ringing sound of a burp in your ears.
Oh. He'll wake up to that, and I'm sure he knew it was Saturday, and it was like, is Saturday usually a free day?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so, yeah, that would be a little jarring, and he would just be kind of, uh, unsure of what that is that just woke him up. And then he'll remember that he was supposed to hear some sort of horn for the mail.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The posted parcel told you that you would hear a horn when your message had arrived. And
Oh,
it sounded like a horn.
Literally. Okay. I think he would shake the sleep from his eyes, rub his eyes a little bit, get up, and well, it's a long rest, huh?
Yes, you can click long rest.
Right. And then he would get dressed, and before heading out into town, he's gonna get something to eat.
Okay. Let me roll. Now, it seems as though the breakfast options during the weekend are not nearly as profound as during the week. It looks like what is set out for you in the morning on Saturday is bagels with various sorts of spreads, which is, nothing to sneeze at, but you only gain 2 temporary hit points from breakfast.
Oh, no, that's all right.
It's better than
Don't
nothing.
plan on. Mm-hmm. So he'll get something quick. Get a bagel, cream cheese.
You notice also that the mess hall and the Merryguard halls are fairly quiet. It's way less busy.
I think he would kind of enjoy that. Going on so many hunts in his lifetime, he's used to quiet mornings, and it's kind of peaceful. So I think he's going to enjoy it and kind of sit there in the mess hall for a bit as he eats his bagel.
Okay. As you sit in the mess hall, roll me a D100.
Okay. 93.
Oh. Okay. Hold on. Roll me a D20.
Okay. 10.
10. Okay, hold on. You rolled one I didn't expect.
Oh.
Which is really my own fault.
Character sheet is not popping out.
Oh, great.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble.
There it is. It's fine. It popped out.
Okay, cool.
Just hadn't loaded yet completely.
All right, just a second here as I struggle with my own organization system. Come on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to forego the token because it's lost to the ages, but I'll find it later. as you are seated in the mess hall, it's pretty quiet. A tall, lean, the sort of person that gives off the image of strength without being huge, human man suddenly sits across from you and sets the plate down with his own bagel on it, and he looks at you and he says, "I don't believe we met before."
Don't believe we have.
It's a pleasure. I'm Makito, the barbarian instructor.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. Good morning. Very quiet morning, and I like it.
The halls of this place give plenty of time for meditation, and you can notice it when there aren't hundreds of people bumbling about, having all sorts of annoying conversations.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess it could be kind of annoying if you like the peace and quiet.
I do.
I'm Kaelan, by the way.
That's a pleasure. It's a shame you didn't sign up for my own class.
Oh, well,
Looks like
What,
Triss got her claws into you, by the size of you.
well, hunting is what I know best, so I thought it'd be best if I go in that direction.
That's fair. Where are you from, out of curiosity?
I'm from Trident.
A sailor.
Uh, More of a mainland. I stuck to the mainland mostly, but
I didn't think they
I d-
made any of you landlubbers over there.
oh, I do know how to sail, but
Of course you do.
it's not. It's not my everything.
Is it true that you're born in a raft?
Some of us might be born in a raft, but we definitely leave this life in a raft. So,
No two ways about it, then.
no, I don't think so. It's more of a Trident tradition, or at least where I come from, the island I come from.
Well done. Since you've been here, as it is quite a voyage from any of the islands, what do you think of the place? How do you like it?
I like that it's close to the water. It's definitely an experience that I didn't think I would ever experience. I lived my whole life on that island, so it's all I knew. And I'm, be honest, I'm kind of loving it.
That's a good sound.
So where are you from?
Oh, I hail from the east, Eastern Aurelia.
Eastern Aurelia. Let me go to the map real quick.
Okay, go ahead. He nods and says, "My family is known to be guardians of an old tomb out of the Stoutfell Range."
Oh, okay. So is that close where Yitran's from?
Yithran. You see the knoll in the Bard class? Maybe.
Yeah.
I've known a few knolls to be around about. Did he say where he's from?
Oh, I believe the Sea of Trio?
That's a few hundred miles south of the old homestead, but it's closer than here, I'll say that.
Right. So you said Eastern Aurelia, so I not really particularly knowledgeable on the geography.
That's fine. It's a big place. The forefront of magic, if you didn't know.
The forefront of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Sea of Trio or the Stoutfell Range?
Eastern, really, yeah. The Kaelan marches, the Sea of Glass, the Glass Plains. They call it glass because there's legends the old mages of Zever perfected their fire magic on the deserts itself and turned the whole place to smooth glass.
That's really interesting. I don't think I've quite heard of that before, but can you tell me more? I mean, besides just the mages turned the whole plains to
where
grass?
the wells are rich with blue crystal and everyone speaks in arcane runes when they get upset. That's all rumor. But it is fun to talk about. And there are many shrines to, Magos and the other magical realms. They say there's portals to Arcadia buried in the Stoutfell Range, but none of my family's ever found one.
Really?
Aye. Old wives' tales and stories, the sorts of things to allow magical monsters to help your children get to sleep at night.
Kind of like the Babadook.
Not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's a particular night monster that comes out of the closet to check if you're sleeping or not. And if you're not, it gets you.
I suppose it's a bit like that. Monsters of slipper dwellers, monsters that hide in your night slippers. And if you can't sleep, they pull you in, force you to go about the night duties. At least, that's what we tell our kids. Who knows how real they are? I just call it insomnia.
Well, never really had insomnia before. Usually get pretty good sleep.
You certainly won't around here. I'm gonna make you tired every day.
You know, I find that good. I find that a good day's work is always rewarding. So,
Are you trying to impress me, boy?
no. I just
Oh, you actually
say
believe that?
I just say how it is. My father is a bit of an older man, and so things I know are. I guess I've had a wise teacher in my young years, so.
Apparently so. I've heard good things from Triss about you.
Oh, Tris talks about me. That's well, that's good. If they're good things.
Well, not everyone can be like old Tabernacle, keeping their lips tight about their students. Most of the instructors do talk about their promising recruits. If at least talks about arranging, free agencies.
Do you have a particular student of yours that you have a keen eye on?
One that I see potential, sure, but I'm not likely to tell another recruit about it now, am I?
Well, hopefully I get them one day for free agency.
I'm sure you will. In fact, I guarantee it.
All right. Can't wait to meet them. I'll be on the lookout for it.
Maybe you can a little.
All right then.
Makito takes a large bite of his bagel. Kind of smirks at you and he says, "So what's your plan for your day off?"
Well, I got woken up by a horn in my head, so that means the post and parcel for me this morning.
Or you're losing your baskets.
Wait, what?
You're losing your baskets. It's an Eastern saying. You're going crazy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, that's fair. Didn't even think of that. I just, well, I don't know what I don't really have anything planned, so maybe check out the town a bit more. Will go for some fishing?
I recommend enjoying your free time while you have it.
All right. Good advice. Think I will.
He takes a large bite of the remainder of his bagel, kind of nods to you and says,
Well, I have my own work to get back to, but I hope you have a good day, Kaelan.
Thank you. I'll be seeing you around then.
Probably.
as he stands up and kind of shoves the last bite of bagel into his mouth and nods with a smile, heads out of the room, and you find yourself once again alone.
I think he'll finish his bagel, and then is there any fresh fruit available in the mess hall?
Yeah, always. There's usually a bowl of apples, oranges, honey lemons, those sorts of things.
Okay. He'll take an apple and scoot on out of the hall and make his way to the post and parcel.
Okay. Let me pull up the map. The quaint town of Ferrum opens up to you. As always, it is fairly busy this time of day. It being a Saturday, there's more people out on the street than you would have expected, and they seem to be not about business, but out for pleasure. You hear people laughing and talking and jeering, and children are playing and fighting with each other, these sorts of things. Even the road right outside the Merigard Academy is busy. You're heading straight to the post and parcel, or are you dawdling a little bit?
It's his day off, Saturday, so he's not in a hurry. So he's gonna dawdle a little bit.
Okay. Roll me a d8.
All right. Seven.
Roll me a d100.
$19.
Hold on. 19. Okay. That doesn't work. Hold on. Reroll for me, please.
Sure. 72.
Okay. Okay. All right. You are immediately distracted by a vendor who looks bizarre to you. Roll me a perception check. 18. Okay. This vendor is standing behind a cart that looks like it has a hot plate, and the smell of baking water crust, it fills your nose, and it's a very sweet, very pleasant, savory smell. And when you look, this is a vendor selling what look like individual pies that are in small vellum wrappers. And there is a sign that says various flavored meat pies, 1 silver apiece. Behind the vendor, behind the cart, you see the vendor is a dragonborn, kind of. And by kind of, I mean this individual is wearing a long robe. It turns more into a cloak than a robe, but it covers up everything but their hands, their head, and their tail. You see their head, it looks like a mask or a construct of maybe paper mache. And the tail is of similar construction. But as you approach, the vendor looks to you and with a voice higher pitched than you expected, say, "Would you like to try a meat pie? They are delicious. Best in the city."
Oh, I think I know what this is. Oh, this is so great. I love it. Um, I'm hoping this is what it is. uh, he'll take a bite of his apple and chew it, and his like brows will furrow at like the oddity of what he's seeing right now.
Yeah. This individual kind of teeters a little looking at you eating the apple, and he says, "Protein good with fruit. You need meat pie." And you see the vendor pushes forward a piping hot, well crusted, like braided crust pie. It's about the size of your hand. It's not huge, but it does look appealing.
Okay, he's gonna approach the cart. All right. Well, I did only have a bagel.
You need more. Growing adventurer needs many foods to eat. More calories, yes?
And and you said they look like a dragonborn.
With an 18, it's a attempt to look like a dragonborn.
Okay.
It's kind of bronze in color, but you can see specks where the paint is kind of flaked away. It's like a paper mache dragonborn head underneath what looks like a very thick cloak.
And in Draconic, he'll say, "All right, what kind of pie do we have here? What's in it?"
In Draconic. Hold on. The individual replies to you and says, "Please, for other customers, let's speak in the trade language, yes?"
And he comment, "All right. I wanted to speak your language, since you're a dragonborn."
Roll an insight check.
Okay. This is wonderful. Oh man, 14.
It's it's a little bit too aggressive. Of a like.
Okay, it's a little too quick.
Yes.
Like jumping on the gun. Okay. Um. Uh. Is it alright to say that Kaelan's a little suspicious here?
Sure.
Okay. And you said it teetered. The body teetered in a way.
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
It does not look super stable. It's as if maybe this individual needs to go to the bathroom.
Okay. All right. A silver. Yes.
That's right. Best deal in Ferrum.
All right. This is gonna be great. So he'll take out a silver. And I do have one of two. So, and he'll try to give it to the vendor, but he'll drop it at their feet.
Okay.
See what happened.
So they're behind a cart, so you can't really see their feet.
Okay, yeah.
But you'll drop it, it'll fall behind the cart, and they'll. Yes. No problem.
Sorry. Butterfingers.
Nope. No worries. There's like some quiet rustling, and then you hear this as the individual bends down. It is an ordeal as this individual bends down. But they do manage to pick up the coin, and as he rights himself, the head kind of turns a little bit too far to the side and then sorts itself back on again. And he says, perfect, thank you. And he pushes forward one of the freshly made, hot, braided pies to you.
Okay.
It smells wonderful of rosemary and thyme.
Oh, well, great. And they're just like handheld, like mini pies?
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
like a pasty, if you know what that is.
Oh, I know what that is, yeah. Okay. So
it fills your hand. It's a significant fucking thing.
So he'll take it, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you very much.
You too. I hope to see you again.
Right, and you too.
Hey,
And,
roll me a perception check.
Oh, it's not that great.
Hold on.
14.
Let me roll thing. Okay. You hear us too?
I think we'll hold back a laugh and smile a bit, and then just make his way.
Okay.
Make his way back to what he was doing.
All right. You now have a very significant meat pasty in your hands. If you eat the whole thing, you will gain 10 temporary hit points.
Yeah, he is definitely eating it. He did not have any protein.
It is actually delicious. And you're not sure what the protein is. Maybe it's venison, maybe it's rabbit, but it is delicious.
All right. Sounds good.
When you get to the post and parcel, it is not as busy as it was the last time you were in here. But you see that there are different tellers than there were when you were last here. They're all handling customers. So you do see there is one counter that says receiving, and it is empty.
The counter is empty, devoid of.
There's no line there. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, then he will definitely. He is receiving something, so he will walk up to the counter.
As soon as you get up there, a gnome hops up onto a stool opposite you and says,
Good morning. How can I help you?
Yes. I heard a horn in my head this morning. I believe you have a package for or a letter for Gammon.
Ah, right. One minute.
He hops down off the stool, heads over to the roostery, and he begins sifting through what is there, and he does eventually come back to you with an envelope that he sets on the counter in front of you.
Oh, okay. Great. I think he's so eager to open it right now and just read it. But I'm just gonna roll for it, see if it does. Yeah, he breaks into it.
Okay.
It reads it right there.
I'll read it to you. It says, Garmin, wherever you are, I am glad to hear that you are safe. I still do not get why it has to be such a big secret, at least not from me. You left in such a hurry, you could have sent something sooner. Alec would tell me I am being too hard on you, but he's always coddled you, and he's not writing to you. I am. Well, where you are may be a good place to grow, but if you don't come back, I will never forgive you. You don't want that. Trust me. Things here are quiet. I'm training a new pet, which maybe you'll have the privilege of meeting sometime. Keep safe. Hiyoko.
Okay. I think he'll kind of chuckle to himself at the whole, if you don't come back, I'll never forgive you, and you don't want that. And he'll seal it back in the envelope and tuck it away.
Seeing that you chose to stay there, there's no line behind you, so the gnome basically just went off to go help other customers.
Well, I think that really kind of cured his homesickness for now, and he'll leave it at that and just walk on out. And I think he'll head towards the Griffin's bag because he's heard a lot about it from Sean.
As you are leaving the post and parcel, and you're tucking the letter away into your pocket or your bag, your left hand brushes against your left pocket, and there feels like there's something metal in there. And you don't remember there being anything in your pocket before.
I think he'll pause and he will reach into his pocket and check what it is.
You feel something metal with what feels like maybe paper or parchment around it.
Okay. He'll take it out of his pocket and look at it.
It's a pin. It's a small, maybe bronze or brass pin. It looks tarnished, like it's been kept in a drawer for a long time. On one side of it is simply the metal pin itself that keeps it attached to clothing. On the other side, you see there is a rounded face where it looks as though there is a stone. The sort of massive boulder bastioned over what looks like a river or a coast. At least that's what the imprint on it looks like to you. And you see that in the palm of your hand, a little roll of parchment has fallen out of the pin into your palm.
Okay, he'll... I just stepped outside the posted parcel.
Yes, you did.
So he's gonna step into an alleyway, and take a look around. Just check the area, see if he spots anybody that is looking at him.
Roll a perception.
Okay. All right.
You don't see anybody paying any attention to you in particular. A town guard appears to be across the road from you, is slowly finishing a sandwich, and like briefly makes eye contact with you and raises an eyebrow.
He'll nod and just kind of step to the side. I'm sure he was checking this out right in front of the door, so he just kind of wants to move away from the door and just put his back up against the building and read what he has.
Okay. You open up the parchment. There's not much written there. You look on the back, there's nothing. On the front it says, "A favor owed for a life yoked. R.S."
Favor owed or life yoked. What is that? Have I heard that somewhere?
Not off the top of your head.
RS is familiar. Do I recognize the handwriting?
No. It is extremely calligraphic. It looks like, even though this parchment is small, it's little more than the thickness of your thumb. The calligraphy of the handprint is ornate. It actually takes you a moment to really understand what the words are underneath all the decoration.
Okay. And do I recognize? Okay. This pin has a symbol on it. Do I recognize the symbol?
Roll me a history check.
Okay. That's not bad for a +1, I guess.
With a 13, you remember seeing banners that had a similar symbol. This is the symbol of the Halvard family. The royal family in Phobos. It's not exactly the same, but it seems close. It definitely reminds you of it.
Okay. Hmm. RS. I mean, that there's only one person that really rings a bell to Kaelan.
Okay.
And that is his family friend. So I think seeing this now, his day on the town is over, and he's going to go back to the Marine Guard.
Oh, okay.
Um, he, yeah. Well, hmm,
Well, what's he going to do with the Marigard?
this is kind of scary, in a way.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's going to go to the Marine Guard. Was Persh there at the front, or was he absent for the first time? Then
He was there. He's
he was
always
there. Uh, yeah. Uh, he's actually gonna. Well, yeah, he's gonna go back to the Marine Guard, and just kind of be really perceptive as he
Oh,
walks back.
okay. All right. You are on alert.
Yes. Um, he's seen Sean identify an item, and now he's paranoid that this thing that he found in his pocket is a magical trinket that may. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's gonna go back to the Mary Guard and see it. Go up to Persh.
Okay. No problem. You make your way back toward the Marigard Academy, and you are alert, you are careful, you are paying close attention. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, the dice! Yay!
21.
Okay, 21.
Okay. As you make your way back to the Marigard Academy, you are on alert and looking, your head is on a swivel, you're looking in all directions. While you are maybe a little nervous and careful as you're making your way, aside from attracting the attention of a couple city guards, you don't see anyone paying any real attention to you. Which maybe makes it worse when there's nothing for you to kind of settle your mind on focusing on. As you make your way back to the Marigard Academy and you enter the front doors, Persh looks at you because you've entered kind of with a purpose. And he says, Mr. Kaelan.
Good morning, Persh. Is there any person or thing that can help me with identifying an item?
You could probably bring it up to Widget. She's usually around.
All right. And is there anybody that could possibly help me with getting a message to someone, instantly?
They need to be. You're talking to the wrong person. I imagine the bards could help you, or maybe the sorceress. What is it about?
He seems, after seeing what Hirsch wants to do for Etron, I think, if you were hiding from someone who is trying to kill you.
Go
And
on.
you and you find a message in your pocket randomly saying, a favor owed for a life yoked. What would you think?
Persh, like, takes his spectacles off, sets the quill down and looks at you. And he says, how well do you know the person... how well do you know the person you received the message from, or do you not know?
I have a good idea of who it was, and they are, if it is who I think it is, they are trusted. And if they're trying to get me a warning message, I mean, is that something of a warning, or?
I don't know. It seems a bit, well, mystic, if you ask me. It could mean anything. Whose
Right.
life is yoked? Yours? His?
I need to, I mean, yoked, like, put under the yoke, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. My brain is, like, going a million times a minute right now. Like, what does that actually mean?
I'll write it in the... That's what it says.
Okay. Favor owed. I mean, let me look up what yoked really means, the definition of it.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, okay. That doesn't really help.
It means what you thought it meant.
Yeah. Is it say, I mean, my first initial thought was that I owe a favor. And I don't know what this pin is, so I believe it's my life that's yoked.
How's that? Kaelan, before anything, you need to understand.
And Persh kind of squares up with you. He says,
I have seen many adventurers come to the Marigold Academy from many different backgrounds. People escaping crime, people escaping debts. Because here at the Marigold, if you prove yourselves worthwhile to us, we grant you amnesty from whatever it was in your past. Now, there is a limitation. We don't accept, rapists and murderers and those sorts of things, but there is a limit. But within that limit, we, the Marigold, are willing to protect our students as an investment. Some of our best students have become the best contractors we've ever had, and they came from a life of crime. That being said, whatever it is that you're running from, it doesn't really matter to me so long as you are not an aforementioned murderer or rapist. You don't look like the type to me, and so, after a brief look into your nature, as you pass through the selections room, we are confident that we can say you are not a murderer nor a rapist. Simple enough? So, whatever it is that you're running from,
I can guarantee, at least for the year that you have paid for, so long as you stay within the boundaries of our free agencies and lessons, you are safe here at the Marigot Academy. It has been my life's work to ensure that is the case for my students and contractors. Does that make sense to you?
Aye, it does. And he kind of looks as he was listening to that whole spiel like a kid who's been reprimanded. Um, uh, well, I guess you're the best person as any to tell this story to.
I am the
Yeah.
best person to tell it to if you expect I don't remember it, because I've heard many. But I will happily listen to you and provide what advice I can.
I'm on the run because I'm the bastard of someone I shouldn't be the bastard of. Very important person.
You shouldn't. I'm sorry. Could you explain that a little bit further to me? Because I feel as though I did not understand the common language that came out of your mouth.
I'm the eldest bastard son of the Admiral Frovos.
You're his bastard.
I
Do you
In law.
have... Well,
Hmm?
go. Why don't you continue before I start asking questions?
And well, I'm not actually sure if this is 100% true, but I believe the law of succession is that no matter what the child is, the eldest has the first claim to the Admiralty. The, the Admiralty doesn't know I exist. Or I think they don't know I exist. But his wife does. And she doesn't like that. She sees me as a threat.
Well,
And that's why I came here.
I suppose that raises the question. Are you a threat to their line? Do you intend to take the Admiralty?
He'll laugh at that. Just finding it funny, thinking of him being, such a big political figure.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, no, not at all. I don't feel worthy or really just want to live my life the way it is.
Right.
I'm happy with the way it is. That's just more responsibility and I don't want it. But I don't think the Duchess sees it that way.
Right. Well, Persh kind of rubs his hands and sets them flat on the desk, and he says, I've never had... Well,
I can't say that. But it is confidential. I will say, if you intend to become a contractor of the Marigard, you do forego your ties to royalty by doing so, as part of the amnesty clause. So,
That's a bit of a relief, then.
that being said, this is not Trident. We are in Aurelia. And while the Marigard Academy sees itself as a separate entity, you are, at the moment, a citizen of Aurelia, a resident of Ferrum, student of the Marigard. And so, if you feel yourself being watched, if you feel as though there may be people tailing you, play it smart, tell us, and be careful.
All right, I'll take that into account.
May I see that thing you've got?
Sure. Here, and he'll give them both the paper and the pen.
And Persh will look over the pin. He reads the paper with a raised eyebrow and then hands it to you, and he says,
I recommend getting that pen to Widget and seeing if she can find anything hidden.
All right.
As for the paper, that is decisively cryptic and difficult to maybe see the reasoning behind.
That's that's why I ran back here as soon as I could.
Well,
Is there an instructor that can help me out with possibly decrypting that kind of message?
if Widget can't, Tabernacle might be able to, but he might not. It all depends on what he has available to him.
All right. Go see Widget first.
Really,
Is-
Artificer's Tower's to the left, Wizard's Tower's to the right.
Well, classes aren't going. Would she be there? If
Widget is always in her workshop.
fair enough. All right. Thank you, Persh.
"Stay safe." And he puts his spectacles back on.
And he'll go up to the artificers class
Okay.
where Widget is.
The Artificer's Workshop is, well, a volatile place. It
I see it.
smells of acid and acrid fumes. There are the beginnings of electrical components being built in here. You smell ozone, burnt, maybe plastics or burnt wood. And as you enter, you don't see any other students in here, but you do hear the sounds of tools being used from across the room. And as the door closes behind you, a halfling covered in equipment appears from underneath what looks like just a mound of canvas. And she says, "All right, who goes there?"
Hello, it's one of the ranger students. I was told to come up to see Widget.
All right, don't move. Stay right there. And there is the sound of just clattering of equipment and tools and metal as she gets herself out of the pretzel of metalworks that she was in. And then she stands before you, and she is a halfling, so she's very short, but she has a presence about her that makes her seem much taller. And she looks up at you with a black, grease-stained face and clothes and all sorts of goggles and spectacles hanging off of her head. You see that underneath it, a black ponytail is drawn tight down her back. It seems almost as long as she is tall. She looks at you and she says, "Right, what can I do for you?"
Oh, I came across a pin that I'd like to get checked out to see if there's anything magical about it or possibly something hidden.
All right. And she holds out her hand, and with her other hand, she flicks a single lens that over her eye, and she is expectant.
I place the pin in her hand.
right before the pin touches her hand, you see a small, like, almost force field of energy where the pin sets on instead of actually touching her skin. And she focuses the lens on it. This does have magic about it. Where'd you get it? You digging through traps where you shouldn't be, I imagine.
Not at all. I found it in my pocket. Randomly.
Ah, a plant. Okay, let's see. And she twists her hand, and as she holds her hand like in a vertical motion, the pin floats before her and slowly turns in the air. And she says, I see the traces of transportation, conjuration magic lingering on it.
Alright. What does that mean?
It means it was teleported to you. Or it was teleported and then put in your pocket. Or it's recently been teleported a few inches. It's impossible to know without the means or meaning behind the intent, what it was a person wanted to do with this. If you give me a moment, and you see that she pulls a wand from her pocket, and right before she touches the pin with it, the wand opens up and it's just another lens.
Okay. Alright.
As she looks at it, she is casting Identify.
Okay.
What were you doing when you received this item specifically?
I was reading a letter from home.
Mm-hmm. And where is home exactly? As she turns her hand and it twists.
Trident.
Oh, okay. And my home's Aurelia. Right. Can we get more specific, Master... What was your name again?
Kaelan.
Kaelan. Where is home, aside from the entire continent?
Are you familiar with Phobos?
She, like, glances over at you and she says, yes.
City of Anchors.
Thank you. 9 hells, it's like pulling teeth with you students. And as she looks at it, she says, aye, yes. I can see the sea mage touch. All right, sit still. And she casts Identify. Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's not a trap or a curse of any kind.
Well, that's good.
This is a token, according to my Identify spell, thank you. It's a token of the Halvard family to be given to distant family relatives. Intended to be used as... Are you aware of what the guidance spell is?
Well, actually, I don't think he does.
You can roll an Arcana.
Sure. Maybe.
15. It looks as though this pen has been granted a number of charges of the guidance spell, replenishing per, it looks like dawn? Yes, every dawn, not by long rest, so it's not attunement. That's interesting. It's a neat little magical item. It looks as though it can only be used by a relative of the Halvard family. Did you know that Halvard is Old Draconic for Guardian of the Rock?
Huh. I didn't know that.
Does explain the symbol of stone over, looks like a coast or a river. It's up to the, it's art. It's all into interpretation. And she, like, pushes the pin back toward you. It's harmless. Well, it's not entirely harmless. If someone knows where it is, they know to look for it, but the item itself won't hurt you.
Very well. And it's just, I want to put it in my inventory, I guess. It sounds useful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a token?
Yeah.
And it recharges every dawn. How many charges does it
3
with it? 3 charges of guidance every dawn. Okay. Is there a special item I can put
there
in?
will be. I have to make it.
Okay, gotcha. I guess for now... where would I put it? Consumables?
Just make a note of it, and it'll appear in your inventory before next session.
Okay, sounds good. Make a note of it. Token of the Howard family. Just guidance. 3 charges per dawn. All right. And I think that's good. All right.
Widget looks at you and she says, "Will there be anything else aside from magical item identification?"
I was wondering, is there any way to get a message to someone instantly?
Of course there is.
Are you able to do that for me?
She looks at you and she says, "No."
Is there anybody here that could?
Well, the Emiladon, the sorcery instructor, is likely the one. She's in charge of communications in most cases. Though she might charge you, as it's not the sort of spell that happens immediately and without cost. Tabernacle might also be able to do so, if you can convince him to, but he might be a little bit stingy.
All right. I think I need to see Tabernacle anyway.
Very well.
All right. Well, I was told that maybe you can crack this cryptic message that came with this pin.
Let me see it.
Here. And he'll hand over the message.
She again holds it out in front of her, it not actually touching her as she examines it, and lenses as she is inspecting the parchment. Mundane in origin, no magic to be seen. It does also seem to be decorated with teleportation magic. Conjuration is the school. Let's see. I'm going to roll for Widget. She rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Aha! Black squid ink from the coasts of Phobos. I imagine these metal particulates come from a tin pen, as she is inspecting it. This was written, likely, in your hometown, the city of Ancus, or at least nearby. All the markers of the craft come from there. The calligraphy shows years and years of schooling, likely either as a noble or as a scribe. Written by someone who knows what they're doing, likely in royal or regal or noble employ. From what I understand, Phobos is some sort of feudal system.
Aye, yeah.
Right. I expect someone of political promise wrote this. R.S. I'm not familiar with the geopolitical environment of Phobos nor Triton. It's not really my interest. However, someone trained, well-moneyed, and with access to exquisite inks and materials wrote this, and then had it teleported here, where it ended up in your pocket, and she handed it back to you. Does that mean anything to you?
It does. Means a lot. That's perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I had a free agency with one of your students, Sean.
Yes.
He's quite good at what he does. It was very enjoyable.
Of my students, he is one of the most promising, if a little bit naive.
Yeah, he wasn't the best at perceiving things, but he's very smart and he knows what he's doing. So,
Yes, he does.
but I just thought you should know.
Oh, he was taught by halflings, and not even by myself. Of course he's promising.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'll leave you alone. You
Thank
seem
you.
busy.
I am. And she immediately heads back toward what she was working on.
All right. I'm in the Wizard's Tower, yeah?
This is the Artificer's Tower.
Artificer's Tower. Okay, the Wizard's Tower is fairly close.
No, it's all the way across the castle.
Wonderful. Kaelan doesn't mind walking, so he'll
that's
head
good.
over there.
Okay, you head to Tabernac's classroom. It is a trek. You walk all the way across the campus. As you climb into Tabernac's classroom, have you been in here before?
I have not.
Well, Tabernac's classroom to Kaelan is alarming. The first thing you see as you enter is you are on a large wooden deck or platform lined with bookshelves and shelves filled with spell components. There are long tables covered in parchments and what look like inscribed arcane runes in vast circles, almost enchanting circles, on the tables. Each shelf that's lined with books is taller than Kaelan can reach, and beyond that you see there is a large balcony that looks out into a massive room that is illuminated by large stained glass windows.
Okay. Great. I think he would his eyes would be everywhere. Just trying to kind of taking it in, seeing if he can just taking in the detail of it.
Yeah. As you are kind of looking around the room, you suddenly hear coming from down over the balcony,
That is a new smell. Who do I have to welcome to my lair on a Saturday?
I turn to see where the voice is coming from.
it is coming from across the balcony over. It's like you have to like walk over to the edge of the balcony to look. And when you do, you see there is a stairwell that leads down to what looks like a massive sitting room that is illuminated by these stained glass windows. And next to it is a stage where there is a huge brass dragon who is looking up at you.
Oh. Good morning.
Good morning. How may I be of service? Or are you merely here for company?
Well, first of all, and in Draconic, he'll say, I'm sorry to disturb your Saturday. You must be Tabernacle, yes?
An apology in the royal tongue will always go far. I am indeed Tabernacle, the wizarding instructor here at the Miragard Academy. Who
All right.
might you be?
My name's Kaelan. I'm a ranger student with Triss.
A pleasure to see a student of nature here. You should approach, as this angle is not fantastic for my neck.
Right, sorry about that. And he'll approach.
Okay, as you climb down the stairs, the room is huge. It is much larger than makes sense to you from looking up at the tower from the outside. And as Tabernacle looks at you, as you've approached the stage, he says,
Tell me, student of Triss, what is it you have to have brought you here?
I have a bit of a riddle for you that I can't seem to wrap my head around. And I was wondering if you could give me some sort of context given the backstory, more than willing to share the backstory if you're willing to listen.
I am always ready to listen to a story, as that is the treasure I covet.
Right. So, nearly 20 years ago, a bastard was born to a royal family in Trident. The bastard was not known, was kept secret from the family that he was born to. And eventually, the father, who was a noble, married a second wife, and that wife produced another heir, or what he thinks is the heir to his throne, not knowing the older bastard was alive. Some rumors had it that this bastard was a living bastard, and this second wife, who is a jealous, vengeful type, has taken it upon herself to try to find this bastard and eliminate the threat to the throne.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kaelan, but this is not the one type of story that one tells about another, now is it?
I'm not one to lie, so no.
That does save us some time. You feel your life is in danger.
Possibly. Don't know yet. I'm very far away. But the message I received is quite cryptic, and I don't know if I should be more careful going forward, unless I know what it really means.
One is only considered paranoid until they are proven correct. Allow me to take a look at your riddle.
All right. It's quite small. I don't know how. Should I just read it?
Hold it out for me, would you?
Sure. And he'll hold it out, expecting
a massive brass-colored mage hand collects the parchment from your fingers with surprising delicacy, and it floats up in front of Tabernac's huge eyes, and he says,
A favor owed for a life yoked. Are you aware of who R.S. might be?
I believe it's a family friend. A family friend of family that's trying to protect me. Who sent me here?
Then perhaps yours and his life are yoked.
Oh. Now the player is getting it. All right. Huh. That makes a lot more sense then. Right.
It looks as though this riddle perhaps accompanies a favor being provided to you.
Very much so, considering the item that came with it.
Ah, it did not come alone. That does explain. I think, perhaps, the one looking out for you was providing you a gift.
Makes a lot more sense now. All right. And Tabernac would see the relief come across Kaelan's shoulders, and he would be thinking, "Thank you, Uncle Rao." That's what he would be thinking.
roll me an insight check.
Okay.
You're trying to read a dragon, which is not going to be easy, but
Nope.
roll it.
Nope.
Nah. Tabernac is unreadable, but he does
Yeah.
say,
It looks as though this riddle is solved. However, what you have told me is not something to not be concerned about. If you find yourself being followed or watched, proceed carefully. The demons that hunt the minds of those tainted by politics are never to be underestimated.
All right.
If this bastard of royalty, if you are truly likely to be in line for a throne, and that threatens the line of anyone else that is more well-equipped to claim the title, well, assassinations have happened for much less in the history of this world. I have seen many myself.
That's very good advice.
I will also make a note of it to Mr. Tourneau when you are assigned free agencies as an attempt until you are a full contractor, if that is the path you should so choose to take, so that you can remain safe during your studies as a student.
Oh. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It would be a waste of 100 gold and hours of putting time into you to just find a knife in your back.
That would be a waste of time, I guess. Oh. Well, I appreciate you solving that riddle for me. It definitely told me a lot. I actually, besides this, I have been meaning to stop by to this particular classroom.
Is that so? Do you have an interest in the arcane?
I have an interest in,
Dragons?
not as much as my interest, is in the other planes, particularly the Feywild.
Ah, so you do come with questions that are actually interesting.
I've been running into a lot of Fey beings since I've been here.
Yes, that does make sense, as we are on a Feywild's ley line here, bordering the Allen Forest.
What does that mean?
Well, simply put, where we are is remarkably close in proximity to the Feywild, and so the topography here, the terrain you find outside of Ferrum, is much like what you'd find in the Feywild. And the thing about magic is it likes to be in both places at once. It's more of a living creature, and it gets uncomfortable if it's cooped up, as it were. So, things can sometimes walk from the Feywild into the Allen Woods without even realizing it.
Is the Skywood particularly Fey infested? Well, I shouldn't say infested. Is that another line that's pretty close to the Feywild as well?
No, that, if you are referring, I believe, to the Skywood of Zephyr, that, if you will take a look at the globe, we will see is aligned with the ley lines of the plane of air. It is the floating hillocks and flying rock yards of the airplane that Zephyr is most topographically akin to.
Oh, and he'll look over. Does he gesture to the globe?
Yeah.
May I have a closer look at it?
Of course. This is a classroom, after all.
All right. And he'll go look at the globe.
Okay. Yeah, you see a globe of amaranth.
Cool. And it depicts the ley lines of the different planes.
They seem to be moving as you're looking at them.
Huh.
It's like watching a spider web slowly be pulled across the map, and it gently changes shape the entire time. It's never quite a perfect grid, but there are a few places where you see ley lines gather and don't move. One of them, it looks like it's near maybe Arbara? In between Arbara and Aurelia? It's around there. Looks like you
Okay.
can put your finger on it almost.
He'll look at that particular spot. Does this have like indications of where it is?
Yeah. Roll me a survival check.
I'm good at this. Yeah.
With a 24. Well, I'm going to pull you over to the world map here.
Okay.
So go ahead and... Well, I'm going to ask you to... Yeah, okay. You see, on the map, there is this section of the Goldwood.
Oh.
That is
Okay.
where a number of ley lines seem to group. Like a nexus.
Huh. And are these ley lines like different? Do the different ley lines have different colors to indicate what they are or where they're coming from?
Kind of. Because they shift, it seems as though the colors are not reliable. This is actually kind of a difficult globe to read as you're looking at it. Like, at a glance, you can see where things of importance are, but when you try and look at a specific ley line to follow it, it's almost as though it's evading your eyes. You don't seem to have the training to properly read this globe.
Wow, this intersection's filled with ley lines.
I see you are looking at the Arborian Nexus. Yes. That is a junction of the Feywild, the Beastlands, the Earth Plane, and the Negative Energy Plane.
Oh. Well, that is very interesting. Huh. And I think he would scan over the globe, like basically turn it almost 180 and look at Phobos.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll me an Arcana. See if you can
he's-
identify what you're looking at.
He's gonna use the pin.
Okay. roll it with
One
guidance.
charge of the pin. Situational bonus. I'm gonna put the 1d4 in there and see what comes out. All
14.
right.
As you look at Phobos, it is hard to tell what you're looking at. Trident in particular, the ley lines almost look like a swirl.
Oh. Okay.
You do make out with a 14 that the plane of water goes right over Phobos and seems to mix with the Beastlands again.
Oh. Huh. Well then, that's interesting. Do you have any books on the Feywilds and possibly the Beastlands?
Well, of course I do, Master Kaelan, but as with any other dragon's lair, these are my treasures, and so I do not permit them to be taken from my classroom. You are free to read them as you wish while you are here.
If you don't mind the company, I'd like to read them.
Then take your time, as time is something I never seem to run out of.
And he gestures to the shelves.
All right.
You're going to do some reading up on those planes?
Yeah, I'm actually good. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Roll me an investigation and a D100.
I'm gonna use the second charge of this.
Okay.
Just because it's not something he's particularly good at.
What do you look for first?
I think he's gonna. The first thing is his Feywild, because he's been running into that a lot. Well, I mean, 2 times in 4 days is a lot for him.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay, and that D100?
T100.
So you're not looking for anything specific, which makes the search easier. With an 18, there are a lot of books on the Feywild. It looks as though the Feywild is a place that is frequently researched. And so with a 13, you kind of pick one of the more ornately built books that's bound in like bronze fittings with silver filigree. And you see this one was written by the researcher Talitho Benelicillian.
I'll look at the name. Not even going to attempt to say that name. That's he thinks that he doesn't say that. So if
Okay.
Tabernacle picks up on that,
Yeah, he picks it up. You just hear, like, from down on the stage below, you hear, as you open the book, these are our explorations and researches into the Feywild, one of the nearest planes to be found near the prime material plane. The Feywild was always a place of unrestrained and awe-inspiring natural beauty, bathed in twilight with the setting of the suns, lanterns and fireflies providing additional light. It is always beautiful every time we visit the Feywild, except it always twists our perceptions as to the time that has passed while we are there. Smells are stronger, colors are more vivid, sounds are clearer, but shadows in the dark, emotions that tend to go along with them, are also so much more dangerous. And as you're reading, you get some introspection into what the Feywild is. A place of almost condensed and focused magic, but in a natural way. And creatures that are influenced by that heavier impact of magic in ways that, were they in the prime material, they would be basically mundane. But in the Feywild, they are unusual, strange, scary, or amazing. Creatures that cross over from the Feywild into the prime material almost find themselves starving for emotion or company, kind of singing as to why dryads always look for people to spend their lives with them, even if it's just for a short time, comparatively.
Okay.
Do you keep reading?
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't sound like a very dry book. It actually has some flowery language that
Yes, it's an easy book to read.
So I think he would definitely read it and enjoy it.
Okay. Based on how long you're reading this book, you can either spend the rest of your time in Tabernacle's library until it's like time to go to dinner or go to bed. You can either spend the rest of your time reading about the Feywild, or you can also try to find a book about the Beastlands, and you'll get different benefits based on what you do with that time.
Okay, I think since it's pretty maybe mid-morning now, I think he'll spend till lunch to read through this book, and before he goes to lunch, he'll ask Tabernacle, I'm supposed to leave this here, but can I put a bookmark in it, in the page that I'm at?
If you decide to return, set it on my reading table in front of the sofas, and I will make a note that is of particular interest to you. Do not dare dog-ear any of my books, but a bookmark is acceptable.
All right, I wouldn't dare. It's your books.
Agreed.
So, and he'll set it down, go to lunch real quick, eat a light lunch, and then come back, and then I think till dinner he'll try to find a book on the Beastlands.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an investigation and another D100 to try and find something on the Beastlands.
Okay. Well, might as well use the last charge of this. I think he's gonna get some good use out of this. Pin. Oof. Well.
Okay, roll me a D100. A 59. Okay, with an 11, you basically find another book focused on the explorations of the Beastlands by another Benelicilian. This one, hang on, I gotta read the note.
Is it a different first name?
It is a different first name, but last name is again Benelicilian. The first name for the Beastlands is Logathar.
Huh. Okay.
And this one, as you open it up and you begin to read, the wilderness of the Beastlands, also known as the Happy Hunting Grounds by those who visited the Outer Planes, was an outer plane representing the alignments between neutral good and chaotic good in the Great Wheel cosmology. Some characteristics of this plane were ascribed to the World Tree, but we all know that is all poppycock. The Beastlands, in reality, is a place of almost primal nature. The sort of creatures that you find in the Beastlands often mimic those that you'd find in the Primaterial, but are also on much greater scales in many cases. The layers of the Beastlands are generally determined by mammals, reptiles, amphibians, avians, etc. And while they do blend in most layers, exploring the Beastlands has been an exercise in running for our lives in many cases. The Beastlands are often filled with predators and prey, and as the rule of nature would depict, it is survival of the fittest. And here in Beastlands, there is no referee to enforce the rules either way. We've lost many researchers, unfortunately, in our searches through the first layer, due to many encounters with massive creatures that we've been told, and our research dictates towards the ones we've seen in the Primaterial, as dinosaurs, massive reptilian creatures that are more muscle and bone than they are fat, and capable of eating entire researchers whole. I do not envy any adventurer who finds himself across a courser in the wrong period of time, or perhaps unprepared. And as you keep reading, you could read on the Beastlands all you want. How long do you spend on these books?
I think in his mind he'll think, is this this family just like visit other planes for fun? Just thinking out loud again.
You hear Tabernacle from down below say,
If you are referring to the Benelicilian family, yes, they are famous as researchers and explore the planes almost as the Horizon Walkers do.
Horizon Walkers. What's that all about? Is that a family, or are they called the Horizon Walker?
No.
I'm confused.
A Horizon Walker is one akin to yourself, a ranger, more bathed in the magic of Arcadia, one that can explore the plains at will, and often do as a means of necessity, as magic from the ley lines here on the Primaterial twist and weave. Tears can occur in various planes, where Horizon Walkers step through and discover the origin of these tears and repair them.
Huh. That sounds fascinating.
Well, you could pursue that course of study if you'd like. That is the sort of thing Triss could teach you, at least the first steps of, if you wanted.
Huh.
Are you eager to see other planes of existence, Kaelan?
That's possibly. That would be amazing. Reading.
Warn you, there are dangers in the other planes that cannot be expressed through books. For example, the last Horizon Walker contractor, who Started with Triss, unfortunately was lost to Pandemonium. They are still there, if I am aware. We have been unable to rescue them.
That's unfortunate.
It is terrible, a fate that I would not wish upon anyone. However, the truth of being a Horizon Walker is seeing behind the veil, through the curtains, behind the truths of our world that most take for granted.
Huh. Is there, would you mind if on my off days I'd come here to read up on the other planes?
I will never deny a student access to knowledge, so long as they leave the books here when they're finished.
I think that's a good trade.
I think so too.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I'm just gonna read a little bit more in this Beastlands book. Very interesting stuff.
It truly is. The Benelicillians, while they may not have the most academic of studies, they are a pleasure to read. I've read each of their excerpts many, many times.
All right.
I almost have the full collection.
What are you missing? Just in case I come across it.
Well, I'm missing the tome depicting the temporal plane. Unfortunately, that one is particularly rare.
Well, if I come across it, I'll make sure you get it.
If you come across it, we will trade for it, as that is only fair. But
All
that is
right.
of great value to me.
It's a deal then.
I look forward to it.
Good. And he'll stick his nose in the book until dinner.
Okay.
Um,
So you're gonna like eat dinner and then come back and read some more?
Oh! If it's dinner time now, then he'll
Yes, it is dinner time.
he'll actually for dinner he'll head out to the Merry Guard and see if he can catch any of the students there.
Okay. For your reading, you have a situational +1 bonus to history checks regarding the Beastlands and the Feywild. So make a note of that.
Okay, cool. Situational +1 to anything regarding the Beastlands
And the Feywild.
and the Feywilds.
That bonus will get bigger and may even reach advantage as you read more of books on them.
Oh, great! That's awesome.
You basically just looked at the iceberg here.
Oh, well, yeah. There's dozens of books on the Feywild. Yeah, that's just the tip, I guess.
Yeah, it is. All right, so you head to the Merry Guard. Hold on a minute. Where is my tavern? Ay, ay, ay. I'm a mess today. I apologize. Here it is.
All good.
The Merry Guard is busy. It is a Saturday night. As
All right.
such, the doors in the back of the tavern are open. You hear people cheering and laughing from downstairs as well as upstairs. Drinks are being served all over the place. You are greeted, as always, by the Gold Dragonborn bouncer. And as you look around... Oh, hang on. No guarantees Lilith is here. Go ahead and roll me a d4.
Okay. 3.
3. Okay. Roll me a d10.
Another 3.
Okay. Roll me another d10.
All right. That's a D8. D10. 10.
And roll me another d10. Okay, that's interesting. As you are stepping into the bar, you hear from a nearby table, "Hey, Kaelan!" And as you look over, you see Sagona is looking at you. Next to her, you see a tall half-orc who looks like he's in common clothes, but he's a very, very well-built half-orc with short cut hair. And then next to him, on the other side, you see a woman who doesn't look well, or rather, looks almost gray in the face. And she kind of looks over her shoulder at you. And she is attractive, but also in the way that, like, vampires are attractive, or just this almost creepy look about her, like Wednesday Addams. Hold on a minute, as I have to fix.
Hey, Wednesday Addams. It's a good one. Yeah.
But Sagona is waving you over to her table, and I will place... You have found Anscombe, you have found Dog, and you have found Sagona. Yeah.
What a lineup.
Yes. So that's who you find at the Merry Guard today. Sagona looks at you, and she says, "Well, how you been?"
All right. I'll walk over. In books all day, actually. To be honest.
Sagona, like, squints her eyes, and she says, "Is that any way to spend a Saturday?"
Well, when something catches your fancy real quick, you kind of want to learn all about it.
Dog, or rather, the unnamed creepy one, kind of nods, and she says, "I get that. Yeah, you just want to know everything you can about it."
Insight check?
Oh, yeah, roll insight.
Real? All right. Like, the tone, it kind of threw him off. All right.
She's being serious.
All right. Well, you get it. I don't think we've met before. I'm Kaelan.
I'm Dog. It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. And,
The half-orc looks at you and says, "I'm Anscombe."
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Anscombe.
Yeah. Likewise. You're not the sort to look like they dive into books all day.
Not really. But it's a topic that I've taken a keen interest to as of late. So.
What topic,
Figured.
if you mind me asking?
Just other planes of existence.
That's too rich for my blood. I can't get my mind around that. And you see Anscombe just takes a hit of his tankard, and Sagona says, "Really, the other planes?" Did you know there's one plane particular to a friendly god known as the plane of water, where you can sail literally for your entire life singing in the storms, and it's paradise. And Dog looks at Sagona and says, "That doesn't sound much like paradise."
Well, I mean, that might be paradise to her.
Exact. Thank you. And
Anyway,
Dog just holds her hands up and is like, "Okay."
Anyway, is this seat open? Can I get a drink with you?
It's all yours.
All right. And he'll sit down. And who's serving us?
Let me roll. Okay.
Again? Is it again? Is it again?
This familiar waiter approaches and says, "Welcome to the Merry Guard, where it is your duty to be merry. How can I help you?"
Light, you should know me by now. Yep, expected that. Ale and some So the fish dish that you have.
The garlic knots came out really good. I recommend them.
We'll take that. I'm buying.
Okay. I'll be back with what you got. And he heads down the tables.
All right.
Across the table, Anscombe says, "You're buying, eh? I won't say no to garlic nuts. They're delicious, honestly."
I'm actually in a good mood today, so yeah, let's be merry, as he says. And I'll point at the waiter.
I wonder what you're like when you're not in a good mood.
Just more silent. If you really want to know.
I do. The range of emotion is something interesting to me. And Sagona looks at Dog and says, "Okay, well. I most prefer to show, not tell, Dog. Anyway, thank you for ordering garlic knots. That was nice of you. What got you in such a good mood?"
Just this morning, got a letter and put me in a good mood. That's about it. So,
That's good to hear.
hey. So what have you three been doing all day?
Oh, we just got out of the fight pit.
A fight pit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They were running
That
brawls
sounds-
this afternoon downstairs. Why do you think it's so busy in here?
What the? And I missed it.
Well, you were reading.
This is true.
Anscombe
I shouldn't
shrugs.
be. I shouldn't be up in arms about it then, huh?
You didn't miss a whole lot. Sagona apparently can shock people with her hands, and it got her disqualified.
Oh,
Sagona
wow.
says, "Well, they didn't say I couldn't. Now, did they?" And Dog said, "They said no magic, which is why I didn't do anything."
Oh,
It's
well.
not fair. And she folds her arms, glowering down at her tankard.
I can't do any magic, so it seems fair to me to not have magic be in fights.
Anscombe is nodding at you, and Sagona is frowning at you.
So, Sagona, your cleric student, Dog, Anscombe.
I'm
What's a?
I'm a warlock. Yeah, she's a warlock, you can tell. I'm a fighter.
All right.
What does it mean that
oh,
you can tell? And Anscombe looks at her and says, "You're creepy."
Honestly, I couldn't tell if it means anything.
Thank you.
Anscombe, then you must know Lilith.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know Lilith.
All right.
She's a handful, is what she is.
Okay, that's fair. Yes.
Am I wrong?
I met her on the first day here, and she seems fine to me.
Yeah, she seems fine to you because you didn't put her on her ass. She's got to be the best one in the class. So, if I best her, I get to hear shit about it until I fight her again, in which case she fights fucking dirty.
Oh, well,
She lets her ego ride her sword. And Anscombe continues to kind of grumble about it, and Sagona says, That's in class. We're not talking about in class. Lilith's fine so long as you give her cigarettes and ale."
he seems a little competitive, and there's nothing wrong with competitiveness.
Until she throws sand in your eyes.
Oh, well, that's maybe a little too far.
She says the only fair fight's the one you're not fighting fair in, so long as you win.
Huh. I would make a joke about Farum, but I'll keep it to myself.
No, what is the joke?
That's the joke.
I don't get it.
You shouldn't fight fair in Farum.
Oh. It's a play on words. I like that. And Sagona says, "Right, yeah, you got it, Dog." And as she says that, the waiter brings over the platter of garlic knots and ales. And as he sets down the garlic knots, a small, what looks like a rainbow parade just over the top of the knots as he sets it down, and he says, I hope they are as spectacular as they were when I took them out of the oven. I didn't take them out of the oven. When they took them out of the oven a minute ago. Enjoy.
All right. Thanks, Light.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. I'm sorry, how do you know my name? Did I tell you my name?
I feel,
He 100%.
Oh, well.
He 100% told you his name.
Okay.
He just doesn't remember.
You told me it the first time I was in here.
Oh, did you tell me your name?
I believe so. It's Kaelan.
Oh, Kaelan. You did tell me your name. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, it's a pleasure to see you again. And here, for the road. He snaps his finger, and a single firework out of your ale.
All right. Fair. Cool. So he'll just laugh at that and dig into his meal and the garlic knots.
The garlic knots are delicious as hell.
Amazing.
The ale goes down smooth. The garlic knots are a really good complementary flavor with the hopsy flavor. It is scrumptious. And as you are hanging out with Sagona, Dog, and Anscombe, dealing with Dog's basically unbridled and brave social awkwardness, that is where we are going to stop tonight's session.
Perfect.
I hope you had a
All
good
right.
time. Thank you for playing with me, and to everybody who's watching, thank you, and I look forward to running again next week. Good night.
Good night.